Hello everyone, it's your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black One and Only, here with another exciting video, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about Vibe. Vibe is a DC Comics character. I'm going to be reading his DC Universe Encyclopedia entry. We're not using a fan wikia, we're not using Wikipedia, we're using an official online source provided by DC Comics. This is not just going to be a reading, it's going to be a commentary, so as I read through it, I'm going to be commenting on the stuff that I'm reading about. I actually know a good bit about Vibe. I read his New 52 run, however I don't know a lot about his previous storylines. I originally was going to do Hawkman for this episode, but when I was trying to do the Hawkman video, I ran out of space on my computer, so I ended up having to scrap that take, and rather than doing that take again, I decided to do a video on Vibe. Because recently my friend Kratos and I have been talking a lot about the dark multiverse and multiverse travel and how different universes vibrate at different frequencies. And Kratos feels like Vibe is potentially the most powerful character in the DC multiverse. If you want to learn more about that, Kratos actually released a video earlier today. Well, I guess technically he released a video yesterday called What is the String Theory? How does it explain a lot about the DC multiverse? So if you guys want to learn more about that, definitely make sure to check out that video on his channel, Heart of Cards. Now, without further ado, let's jump into this DC Universe article. Also, real quick, before we jump in, I just want to say that I'm using music provided by Pink. Pink provides free-for-profit music. On occasion, there will be ads, and I'll stop reading in order to try and pause and skip ads. But without further ado, let's hop right in. Vibe. Possessing vibratory powers, as well as the ability to open interdimensional portals, Vibe was the first Latin American hero to join the Justice League. Aliases: Francisco Cisco Ramon and Paco Ramon. First appearance, Justice League of America Annual Number 2, 1984. Despite his humble origins, Francisco Ramon, alternatively nicknamed Cisco or Paco, has left behind quite a legacy. He was the first Latin American DC superhero to become a member of the Justice League of America, when he and several other young heroes joined what has been referred to as Justice League Detroit. Growing up in Detroit, Michigan, Ramon was a metahuman with the ability to emit intense vibratory shockwaves. At first, he ignored the calling of a hero and resigned himself to be the leader of a local street gang called the Los Lobos. But when the original JLA disbanded and was later reformed and set up shop out of his hometown, Ramon took on the codename Vibe and joined the team, where he quickly earned the respect of veteran leaguers like Aquaman and the Martian Manhunter. Although his time with the League was brief, he proved himself a true hero and was fondly remembered by his teammates after he was killed in action. When the history of the DC Universe was reimagined after the events of 2011's Flashpoint, Ramon lived again. In this new history, Vibe's powers came from being caught in the event horizon of a boom tube during an invasion from Apocalypse, during which interdimensional forces rewrote his DNA. Not only did the new Vibe have vibratory powers, but also the ability to create interdimensional portals. Now let's check out his origin. Growing up in the streets of Detroit alongside his brothers Armando and Dante, Cisco Ramon, or Paco, as he was most commonly referred to, fell in with a bad crowd at an early age. He joined a street gang called Los Lobos and eventually became the gang's leader. Although he had superpowers, the ability to create seismic waves, for as long as he could remember, he only used these powers for selfish reasons. And despite his natural talent as a dancer, Ramon never saw a life for himself outside of the streets of Detroit. That all changed when the fabled Justice League of America broke up. Following an attack that left their satellite headquarters in tatters, their most prominent members quit the team. Founding member Aquaman disbanded this iteration of the League, but soon after reformed the JLA as a more grounded operation, operating out of Detroit. When Ramon learned of this, he saw an opportunity. Along with several other young heroes, he volunteered to join this new iteration of the Justice League as Vibe. Although the young breakdancer was looked at skeptically by veteran leaguers, he proved himself in battle against the likes of the Cadre, Anton Allegro, and Amazo, but he really showed his mettle when he helped defeat the alien conqueror Despero, one of the first villains the League ever faced. Vibe also served the League with distinction during one of DC Universe's darkest hours, the Crisis on Infinite Earths. Let's see. And there's going to be a ad. No ad. That's nice. In the wake of 2011's Flashpoint event, the history of the DC Universe was reimagined, giving Ramon a second chance at life. This iteration of Ramon gained powers much later in life. He was caught up in the event horizon of a boom tube during Darkseid's first invasion of Earth, the event that led to the formation of the Justice League in the post-Flashpoint reality. Ramon's exposure to interdimensional forces rewrote his DNA, giving him vibrational powers as well as the power to open portals into other dimensions and realities. Taking the name Vibe, Ramon helped the government agency Argus find and detain dangerous fugitives from other realities. When Argus formed their own branch of the Justice League, Vibe became the second youngest member of the League ever. So, I didn't know that Vibe was a member of a street gang in the original continuity. Like I said, I read the New 52 post-Flashpoint Vibe series, so the street gang thing is new. I did know that he used to be a dancer back in the day. There used to be little DC Nation shorts that were based on pre-Flashpoint Vibe, and he would break dance in those. So I was aware of that. I forgot that he was the first Latin American member of the Justice League of America. I have a Justice League guidebook that I've read cover to cover, and I'm sure I must have read about Vibe in there, but I just forgot that detail about him. I think it's cool that in both pre- and post-Flashpoint continuity, Vibe is like a significant member of the Justice League due to some quality about himself. Like post-Flashpoint, he's like the second youngest member, but pre-Flashpoint, he's like the first Latin American member. So I'm glad that even though he kind of like changed between both, he's still like important in the Justice League's history. Also, I think it's cool that he faced off against Despero, because I don't know of many heroes who have faced off against Despero. And I was reading another character's article on the DC Encyclopedia who actually died fighting Despero. So it sounds more impressive for someone to face Despero, because it's like, oh, I just know of someone who didn't survive fighting Despero. Powers and abilities. Vibe superpowers are based around an innate metahuman control of vibration and resonance. Cisco Ramon can create massive shockwaves, enough to destroy concrete and steel. Somewhat similar to the former Teen Titan named Terra, Vibe's powers could also affect the seismic vibration of the Earth. In his post-Flashpoint incarnation, Vibe's powers were greatly amplified and included the ability to resonate his frequency to open portals to other dimensions. Essential storylines and history. In Vibe's first appearance, he was a street tough and break dancer who saw an opportunity when the Justice League of America moved its base of operations to his hometown of Detroit. Although the elder members of the team scoffed at the idea of a young punk from the streets joining the team, Vibe proved himself in battle, so the JLA welcomed him into the group along with new members Steel, Gypsy, and Vixen. 2 years later, Darkseid orchestrated a crisis, turning public sentiment against superheroes and forcing the Martian Manhunter to disband the League. Vibe went to New York, to a crime-ridden area of South Bronx. There he met a young Latino child drawing pictures of Superman. When Vibe told him he should look up Hispanic heroes and not just white men, the child pointed out that he'd never even heard of Vibe, which both angered and saddened the hero. Also, it said look up to. I thought he said look up, like, have you check the news? Anyways, at the same time, the League's old enemy, Professor Ivo, attacked Vibe with his androids. As the child cheered Vibe on, telling him he was his new favorite superhero, an android killed Vibe in battle, making Francisco Ramon the first member of the team to die in the line of duty. What? What a way to die. Actually, that's really interesting. Yeah, I don't know. That actually really threw me. I've never heard of something like that before, but that actually sounds like an interesting way to go. Because essentially, right before he died, he was like, Oh, like, at least I was able to change the life of, like, one boy. At least I was able to save, like, one more person and, like, leave my mark. Like, just a moment before, it seemed like he had no legacy. And then immediately after, like, as he's dying, it's like, I did it. I made a difference. That's so weird. I don't know. I kind of like it, like, as a way to go out. Not gonna lie. But anyways, Blackest Night. During the event known as Blackest Night, the evil entity Necron raised the corpses of the dead all over the galaxy and gave them Black Lantern rings. These undead beings held the memories of their former bodies, but did not have their souls. They then attacked the hero community. Vibe was among the fallen heroes risen by Necron, and together with the body of his JLA teammate Steel, who died soon after Vibe, attacked his old friends Vixen and Gypsy in the Hall of Justice. Eventually, his body was destroyed by Dr. Light. In the reimagined timeline of the DC Universe post-Flashpoint, popularly known as the New 52, Francisco Ramon was alive again, never having joined the JLA. In the altered timeline, Cisco Ramon found himself in the vicinity of an apocalyptian boom tube during Darkseid's first invasion of Earth. This prolonged exposure gave him his superpowers, including the power to create transdimensional portals, an ability he never had in the previous timeline. This Vibe was later invited to join a version of the Justice League of America, backed by the government agency Argus. This JLA was intended as a countermeasure should the original League ever go rogue. Vibe was picked because his powers interfered with the Flash's use of the Speed Force. He wound up fighting a version of his brother Armando from another dimension. This Vibe left Earth with the metahuman Gypsy, his teammate in the pre-Flashpoint reality. He left Earth. I don't know why I don't remember that. It doesn't even say where he went. Where did he go? That's such a weird place to leave it on. So he's not on Earth anymore? And it said that he left Earth with the metahuman Gypsy, his teammate in the pre-Flashpoint reality. Is that saying that he left to the pre-Flashpoint reality? Did he leave with the pre-Flashpoint version of Gypsy? Or did he just leave with Gypsy of the New 52, but they're just reminding you that Gypsy was also his partner in pre-Flashpoint? That was really weird. For team affiliations, he was a member of the Los Lobos Gang, the Justice League of America, the Black Lantern Corps, and Argus. Appearances in other media. He's a main character in the Flash TV show and in the Chronicles of Cisco web series. Guest appearances and cameos. In live action, he's appeared in Arrow, Supergirl, and Legends of Tomorrow. In animation, he's appeared in the Vixen web series, some DC Nation shorts, I mentioned those earlier, DC Superhero Girls, and Justice League Unlimited. In film, he has appeared in the animated film Justice League Crisis on Two Earths. And in video games, he's appeared in Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham. Thank you all for watching. What were you guys' thoughts on Vibe? Like I mentioned before, I thought the way that he died pre-Flashpoint was interesting. I think it's interesting that he, in like many ways, he's really important to Justice League's history. Whether in like one continuity where he's like the first Latin American hero, or in one continuity where he's like the second youngest member of the Justice League, or when he was like the first member of the League to die in battle. Whole bunch of stuff like that. I think that's cool. I like that he like faces off against like interdimensional threats in the New 52. That was part of what attracted me to the character, made me want to read his books. I was like, oh, he's dealing with like the dimensional stuff. That's cool. But what are you guys' thoughts on Vibe? Do you feel like he's like one of the most powerful characters in DC Multiverse? That was one thing that Kratos has been talking about, and I feel very skeptical on. I understand where he's coming from. If you want to understand where he's coming from, definitely feel free to check out his video. What is the string theory? How does it explain a lot about the DC Multiverse? Remember, his channel is called Heart of Cards. Anyways, thank you all once again for watching. If you guys liked this video, make sure to smash that like button, favorite, comment, subscribe, and ding ding ding, ring the notification bell to be notified whenever we do these videos. This is your host, your friend, your boy, Jet Black the one and only, logging out. Peace, guys. Chickadee.